We visited Ravenna twice, in May 1999 and in September of 2001. The first time we traveled by car over the Apennines and entered Ravenna via a highway. This time we came by train. Now only in the early morning one can see Ravenna as was seen by the Russian poet Alexander Blok about 100 years ago.
Все, что минутно, все, что бренно, похоронила ты в веках. Ты, как младенец, спишь, Равенна, у сонной вечности в руках.
During other parts of the day, Ravenna is anything but a slumberous eternity. It is a lively town of tourists and artists. During 74 years of the 5th century, Ravenna was the capital of the Western Roman Empire. Later it became the capital of the East Gothic king Theodorix. But in 540, a Byzantine emperor Justinian occupied Ravenna, and it remained a Byzantine city until 751. In that time, those magnificent churches with mosaics were built. 2 years ago, we just wanted to see Ravenna's famous mosaics, but now I decided to take a mosaic course taught by an artist, Luciana Notturni, while Gesya signed for the Italian language class. The language school placed us in the very nice private house of Signor and Signora Donati, and Signora Donati prepared our breakfast. Our windows are on the second floor. Buonasera, Tosca. Toschi e Annabella e Signora Donati.
Signora Donati, siamo a posto. Abbiamo
We had a complete privacy, but it was accompanied the opportunity to practice our language skills because the Donatis spoke no English. And you would not believe us. We had long discussions of political and economical issues. The next day we started our lessons. To find the house and the studio of Luciana Notturni, we should first go to Via Rubicon. But then it is very important to remember that we are not Julius Caesars, and not to cross Rubicon. It will lead nowhere. Instead, we should turn right and again right to Via Arno, where Luciana's family owns 2 houses. The right one belongs to Luciana's father, and Luciana has her studio there. The left house, Luciana herself and to her family. We enter the studio. Here is Luciana, and here is her father. The morning of September 11th started quite peacefully. Our group consisted of 10 Americans. Luciana gave us a demonstration. We were expected to make a copy of an ancient mosaic using an ancient double reverse method and a modern mosaic. The mosaic pieces, called tesserae in plural or tessera in singular, can be made of many materials, but mainly of smalta and marble. Smalta is a big pancake of color opaque glass of non-uniform thickness, cast by hand, mainly in Venice. A gold smalta is made by placing a thin sheet of gold between 2 layers of molten glass. Of course, it is very expensive. You now see Luciana working with smalta. Smalta pieces placed on a hardy are broken into tesserae by a special hammer. A tracing paper and ink are used to copy a drawing and then to print it on lime that remains soft for weeks and serves as a temporary bed for the mosaics. Tesserae can be easily placed and removed from this bed.
No. Allora, dicevamo che non si devono lavorare in scioltezza, non si devono preoccupare, possono
Immediately after the demonstration, we went to our workplaces. We chose and copied our pictures the day before. This is my tracing paper. This is the bird from the church of San Vitale that I will copy. The lime bed prepared by Luciana's staff for me. My instruments, smalta. This is what I managed to make by lunchtime, and this is where I finished my work day at 4, 2 hours earlier than I had expected. At that time, 10 a.m. in New York, one of our translators entered and said, "We felt we needed to tell you. Very bad news from America. The World Trade Center has been destroyed. An attack on the Pentagon. Go to Luciana's house to watch the TV." We ran there and they translated the Italian news for us. Of course, we could not continue to work at that day.
Later posters appeared around the town. The tragedy in the USA. Everybody to the square for demonstration. Indignation and anger. A dangerous situation. But we saw the poster too late and came to Piazza del Popolo only when the meeting was over.
The next day, I am again at work. Helping.
E dice che praticamente è casalinga.
Brunetta, another artist, helped me a lot with my work. Helped me very much with this mosaic. Not finished yet. Now Luciana is doing a final touch for me. That's it. Luciana employs several assistants. Matteo is a student of a mosaic college Ravenna. He is a very handsome young fellow, and Luciana complained about his too many girlfriends. Matteo made remainder parts of the work while we watched and listened. The goal now is to take the mosaic out of its temporarily soft bed for embodying permanently in Portland cement. First, Matteo puts marble dust to the gaps to keep glue from entering the gaps. Excess out. Wet?
Wet.
Yes, wet cheese cloth, cotton, it should be cotton but not plastic. 1 layer or 2 layer? One?
One.
A strong water-soluble glue is spread over the cheese cotton.
Okay.
Okay? Finished. Now the mosaic is put under the sun for a couple hours to dry the glue. Grazie.
Prego.
And it's very, very strong, very, very hard.
Return of the mummy.
Just lift the panel by using a flat tool like that one, without touching the tesseras, but removing the mortar from behind. Now the lime is still wet, still are in a way doing it very quickly. Maybe a couple of tesseras may come loose, but in that case you just glue them back on.
Un altro strappo glielo facciamo vedere sotto.
This is Manuela Farnetti, an author, a translator and a guide.
Adesso questo magari adesso ne fa un altro di strappo. Matteo is removing the mortar, the lime, from the back of the tesseras.
Riempirle di cemento fino a quel livello, allora Matteo le taglia, che stiamo attenti.
Now, since you used here tesseras that were too thick, now Matteo is
dietro sugli occhi
it is a bit dangerous for your eyes.
Like the dentist.
Yes.
What do you mean? Precisi italiani sono uguali, diglielo.
Please attend.
Yeah. See? Now, as you can see, Matteo is cutting the cheesecloth. But with a normal Portland cement mixture, you need 2 days to dry, because you are going to the floor. So onto the floor, you could paint.
Gliene mette un po' dietro, no?
Layer on the back and one.
Hai dei diversi livelli e quando lo appoggi sopra.
Just because you have different thicknesses.
Yeah, okay.
If you had just one thickness, yeah.
E noi ne mettiamo poco poco nel telaio.
Yes, just enough to make it stick to each other.
E poi lo appoggiamo.
With the magic, you have it
Così vedi,
embedded in it.
in caso contrario, se lui lo schiaccia troppo con le mani, altera la superficie, no?
And then he's removing the excess of cement, and for the border, let's say, for that area,
Perché cambiamo il pasto,
Più di
lo
così non si
cercheremo.
può.
a grouting
No, sai,
cement.
ma c'è, bisogna che cambiamo.
So now they are using a different type of cement, specifically for grouting mosaics, which has a very high percentage of marble dust.
Quindi con tanta sabbia, perché altrimenti crepa. Quando l'acqua evapora crepa, quindi non va bene.
Domanda, nel bordo.
Ma lì nella
The
cornice.
sand and the marble dust prevents the shrinking of filling, but using cement, this is the best solution.
Noi ogni tanto facciamo un po' questo.
Sometimes Luciana adds crushed bricks.
The cement should be cured by tomorrow. Meanwhile, we are going to Luciana's living room to see her marble mosaic floor that she made herself and to listen to Manuela's slide demonstration of modern mosaics.
Is it correct? Okay.
I don't know.
It is the Russian cemetery in Paris, and the mosaicist had to reproduce the patterns of a real carpet that Nureyev loved so much. So this is the tomb.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is a tomb that was made using a mold that reproduced obviously the folds of the carpet,
Oh my god.
and it was made directly. It took 6 months to make it. That's all. Well, there were 5 or 6 people working.
Wait, from Ravenna?
Yes, from Ravenna.
What is the name of the mosaicist?
The name of the mosaicist is Francesca Fabbri. Francesca Fabbri. Obviously, the design was very good. I mean, the artist who commissioned, well, it was the Rudolf Nureyev Foundation.
Being in Paris in 2007, we visited this suburban Saint-Geneviève-des-Bois Russian cemetery to see Nureyev's tomb, not in the photo but in the reality. In the empty cemetery, we were very lucky to encounter Tatiana Borisovna Marette-Floroff from the old Russian nobility. She first was willing to take us only to the Nureyev tomb, but eventually she spent 2 hours with us, showing us the entire Russian section where many famous people, including Ivan Bunin, are resting. But for this movie we will show only Nureyev tomb.
Он же не был христианином.
Нет, но он был верующий как артист, и поэтому на этом памятнике богатые символы. Видите, рыбы, большие рыбы, маленькие рыбы, это значит их туз, это символ Спасителя. И кроме того, целый бандероль крестов.
Да, да.
Такая целая оторочка.
Но мне говорили, что у него был ковер, которым он владел, и что это просто по образцу этого ковра.
Возможно.
Ну так она
Возможно.
сказала.
Но рисунки глубокой символики, конечно.
Да.
Неспроста. И золотая мозаика. И у нас крадут эту мозаику. Крадут вовсю, потому что на память. Да, из России приезжают и выковыривают. Как у нас.
The society that's in charge of the cemetery is in the permanent business of replacing stolen gold smelter pieces.
Слишком много будет, мы починим, закажем, комитет починит, и опять мы то же самое. Видите, вот. Выковыривают вот с той стороны. Вот это уже все новое, это даже видно, видите.
Да,
это
да,
1 тонн золота, а это 2, уже видно.
Ну эти золотые они дороже, чем...
Наверное,
Израиль,
я ж
это
не знаю,
не-
кто... Я говорю, в древние времена христиане справляли туризм.